25 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday morning, the second day of September 2014. It's time for Robin and I to read the news to you from the news agencies that we subscribe to here at The Source, WOCA. We have shortened those news stories so that you can hear as many of them as possible during this time segment. It gives you a chance to catch up with the news and get on with your day and live your own news. We will also, of course, tell you the news agencies so you can, if you want to, go online and read the details for yourself. The first one is from the Reuters news agency. An airstrike by U.S. military forces struck an area where leaders of Somalia's al-Qaeda-linked militants were meeting, according to intelligence in a statement issued this morning, but it was unclear whether any insurgent commanders were killed. The strike prompted rumors among Somali government officials that it had targeted al-Shabaab leader Ahmed Abdi Godane and other leaders who were suspected to have been at the location, but there was no confirmation they were hit. If he were killed, it would be a major victory against the group. Since taking charge in 2008, Godane has restyled the group as a global player in the al-Qaeda franchise, a transformation that was highlighted when it killed at least 67 people in an attack on a Kenyan shopping mall in September. The militants have also staged guerrilla attacks in parts of the capital as well as in neighboring Kenya and Uganda. Godane's close associate, Ahmed Mohammed Ami, was killed by a U.S. airstrike in January.
America's racial divide not only remains but has deepened in some ways over the last 6 years, despite hopes that President Obama's election would usher in a post-racial America. The shooting of an unarmed black man and resulting rioting in Ferguson, Missouri is only the latest racial flashpoint in Obama's tenure, which has featured tense, racially charged debates over issues like the arrest of a black Harvard professor and Obama friend in front of his house, and the resulting beer summit, the expansion of voter ID laws, and the killing of Trayvon Martin, reported by MSNBC.
And from the Associated Press, in a story released 20 minutes ago, Russian military forces have been spotted in both major rebel-held cities in eastern Ukraine, according to a statement issued this morning, prompting Ukraine to declare it now has to fight the Russian army, not just the separatists. The statement on the Russians by Colonel Andriy Lysenko, a spokesman for the Ukraine's National Security Council, came after the country's defense minister said Ukraine's armed forces are expanding their strategy from just fighting separatists to facing the Russian army in a war that could cost tens of thousands of lives. Lysenko told reporters Russian troops had been seen in the cities of Donetsk and Luhansk, as well as other locations throughout the east. The claim could not be confirmed independently. Lysenko also said 15 servicemen had been killed over the previous day.
The head of the Florida state-owned insurance company is bragging about how much smaller they're getting. When Barry Gilway took over at Citizens Property Insurance 2 years ago, his mission was to shrink the firm and get more people covered by private insurance companies. This is his quote: "2 years ago, we were one of the 10 largest companies in the United States. I'm thrilled to announce that at the end of the year, our number was 37, and today we're number 47. At its peak, Citizens had 1.5 million policies in Florida. Today, they're under 1 million, and Gilway says they'll be down to 900,000 by the end of the year. That's good news for everyone with private insurance because they're on the hook if there's a major disaster and Citizens cannot pay all of its claims," reported by the Florida News Network.
From USA Today, more than a dozen teenagers who escaped from a Nashville detention center remain at large as a massive police manhunt resulted in the capture of about 15 others. Police have been able to bring about half of the 32 escaped juveniles back into custody. 17 were still at large at 5:45 a.m. this morning, according to Rob Johnson, spokesman for the Department of Children's Services. The teens escaped from Woodland Hills juvenile detention facility around 11 p.m. last night by crawling under a weak spot in the fence that surrounded a yard there, according to the report.
British Prime Minister David Cameron called yesterday for a new law to give police the temporary power to seize a passport in case a British citizen is suspected of trying to travel to support ISIS. Cameron told lawmakers meeting in the House of Commons yesterday that there were two gaps in Britain's fight against the threat of terror at home. The first pertains to suspects traveling abroad. Passports are not an automatic right. We will introduce specific and targeted legislation to fill this gap by providing the police with a temporary power to seize a passport at the border, during which time they will be able to investigate the individual concerned, reported by CNN.
From the Associated Press, more strong storms rumbled through the Midwest, with a tornado reported in Kansas and other places seeing heavy rains, large hail, and strong winds. The National Weather Service said a tornado was confirmed near Cedar Vale, Kansas, yesterday evening. It also cited cited hail the size of ping pong balls. As the line of storms moved east, the National Weather Service noted hail nearly 2 inches in diameter near St. Louis. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch newspaper reported. It said rain fell at the rate of nearly an inch per hour. The Weather Service issued a flood warning for Dardenne Creek because of the 2 to 4 inches of rain since yesterday evening, with up to an inch more forecast before this morning. Amaren said about 8,500 people were without power in Missouri. In Oklahoma, regulators said about 9,000 people had lost power near Tulsa.
Key West, Florida has honored someone who represents achievement in the face of repeated frustrations. Marathon swimmer Diana Nyad was honored on the beach where she stepped out of the ocean September 2nd, 2013. Monday's ceremony at Smathers Beach featured Keys officials unveiling a bronze plaque that is to be installed by the city of Key West on the promenade wall in front of the beach. Plans call for a life-size sculpture of Nyad to be commissioned by the Key West Art in Public Places Board to augment the plaque at a later date. Nyad first tried the long-distance swim in 1978 at age 28. More than 30 years later, she began training to try again, making 2 attempts in the summer of 2011 and another in August 2012. She was 64 years old when she succeeded, completing the Florida Straits crossing in 52 hours and 54 minutes. Nyad became the first person ever to swim from Cuba to Florida without a shark cage. Nyad said she had no immediate plans to repeat her marathon swim, but she did announce other plans. Nyad says she intends in the summer of 2016 to walk from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. The long walk is aimed at increasing awareness of America's obesity epidemic and related health issues, reported by the Florida News Network.
From CNN, Jimmy Jamison, who sang the hits The Search Is Over and Burning Heart for the 1980s rock band Survivor, has died. He was 63 years old. The entire Survivor family is very shocked and saddened by the passing of our brother Jimmy Jamison, is a statement issued by the band's official Facebook page. Our thoughts, love, and prayers go out to his family and friends. Jamison joined the band in 1984 after Survivor scored the #1 hit Eye of the Tiger from the Rocky III soundtrack. Original lead singer Dave Bickler left the band for medical reasons. Jamison sang on 5 top 20 singles, in addition to The Search Is Over, which peaked at number 4, and Burning Heart, which made it to number 2 on the charts and was on the Rocky IV soundtrack. Jamison provided vocals for I Can't Hold Back, High on You, and Is This Love. Survivor disbanded in the year 1989, according to the band's biography. And that's all I have right now. We have to take a little break and catch up on the weather, and we'll be right back with NewsBites. If you're new to NewsBites, this is a great way for you to catch up on the news. We read it in brief, we abbreviate it, we do that so that you can hear the news without spending all day trying to catch up on the news. We do our best to get you the freshest news, by the way, as well.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today with a thunderstorm in spots, high 88 to 92. Clear to partly cloudy tonight. There can be a shower or thunderstorm along the coast, low 71 to 75. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a thunderstorm around into the afternoon hours, high 88 to 92. Thursday, times of clouds and sunshine with a chance of a shower, high 86 to 90. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out. New shows? Check. Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire.
Because that's how exotic it is.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
You hear a lot of announcements on WOCA, but you don't want to miss this one. The Salvation Army Church Indoor Yard Sale is happening on Saturday, September 6th from 8 a.m. till 1 p.m., and everything is priced to move. Over 5 truckloads of Christmas items, clothing, furniture, knickknacks, and books. Doors open at 8 a.m., and there will be a little of everything. Go to 2901 Northeast 14th Street here in Ocala. Thank you for supporting the Salvation Army programs. All right, 12 minutes before 9 o'clock. Let's return to NewsBites. The next story is from CNN. A campaign to get fast food workers paid at least $15 an hour resumes later this week. Union organizers say workers will walk off their jobs on Thursday in 150 cities nationwide. Restaurants that they say will be affected include McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and KFC, which is owned by Yum Brands. The action would be the latest in a 2-year effort to get employers to pay them a minimum wage of $15 an hour and allow them to form unions without retaliation. Nancy Salgado, a 27-year-old single mother of a 3-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl, plans to strike. Salgado works at a McDonald's in the Logan Square area of Chicago, earning $8.25 an hour, or about $600 a month take-home pay. After splitting rent and utilities with 3 roommates and paying for childcare, she is left with a little over $100 a month for food and everything else. If I have $1 at the end of the month, it's a miracle, Salgado said. Currently, the median pay for fast food workers is just over $9 an hour, or about $18,500 a year. That's roughly $4,500 lower than the Census Bureau's poverty threshold level of $23,000 for a family of 4. Thursday's action would come more than a month after the National Labor Relations Board's General Counsel ruled that McDonald's is a joint employer that exerts substantial power over working conditions at its franchises. The ruling, if upheld, means McDonald's could be held liable for labor violations at its more than 12,000 franchise-owned restaurants. Wow. We'll see if they walk out in Ocala on Thursday.
Yeah. Israel has announced the construction of its biggest settlement in 30 years, drawing Palestinian condemnation and a United States rebuke. Almost 1,000 acres of land in the Etzion Jewish settlement block near Bethlehem were declared state land on the instructions of the political echelon by the military-run civil administration. This is a quote from a U.S. State Department official in Washington, D.C. We urge the government of Israel to reverse this decision. this move is counterproductive to efforts to achieve a two-state solution between Israel and the Palestinians, reported by The Telegraph.
And from CNS News, ahead of a raft of economic developments this week, financial markets started the week on a lackluster note yesterday as Wall Street was closed for the Labor Day holiday. Keeping score in Europe, the FTSE 100 index of leading British shares closed up 0.1% at 6,825.31, while Germany's DAX rose the same rate to 9,479.03. The CAC 40 in France ended a tad lower at 4,379.73. Earlier in Asia, China's Shanghai Composite rose 0.8% to 2,235.51 points. In Tokyo's Nikkei 225 added 0.3% to 15,476.60.
The FBI said late yesterday that it was investigating leaked nude photos that targeted Jennifer Lawrence and Kate Upton. The agency told the Associated Press that it was addressing accusations that online accounts of celebrities, including Oscar winner Lawrence, had been hacked, leading to the posting of their nude photographs online. In addition, Apple spokeswoman Natalie Karras said the company was investigating whether any iCloud accounts were compromised. Representatives for supermodel turned actress Upton, age 22, and Lawrence, age 24, who plays heroine Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games movie franchise, issued statements about intimate pictures which first appeared on image-sharing site 4chan over the weekend. Other celebs targeted in the leak include Nickelodeon's Victoria Justice, Sky High and Final Destination 3 actress Mary Elizabeth Winstead, pop star Ariana Grande, and actress Kirsten Dunst, reported by USA Today.
From the Washington Times, the death of an Arizona firearms instructor by a 9-year-old girl who was firing a fully automatic Uzi displayed a tragic side of what has become a hot industry in the United States, gun tourism, with gun laws keeping high-powered weapons out of reach for most people, especially those outside the U.S. Indoor shooting ranges with high-powered weapons have become a popular attraction. Tourists from Japan flock to ranges in Waikiki, Hawaii, and the dozen or so that have cropped up in Las Vegas offer bullet-riddled bachelor parties and literal shotgun weddings where newly married couples can fire submachine gun rounds and pose with Uzis and ammo belts.
3 U.S. citizens held in North Korea have pleaded for help to secure their release, urging Washington, D.C. to send an envoy to the hardline communist country. As government minders looked on, the three, who appeared tense, also said they had been well treated in the autocratic state. "Continue to pray for me," said Kenneth Bay, the longest-held detainee, in a message to family and friends in a highly unusual interview with CNN, reported by The Telegraph.
And from the Associated Press, Senator Mike Lee has called on Americans to join him in an effort to abolish the federal Common Core education standards in a fundraising email for the conservative group Freedom Works. As a U.S. Senator, he says, "I've seen the federal government make a mess of everything it touches." That statement from the Utah Republican that he wrote in an email sent out yesterday morning. He went on to say, quote, "And if they're allowed to stay, Common Core standards will be the Obamacare of education. Common Core is the D.C. takeover of our school system. It will dumb down standards and cheapen the education our children receive," unquote. "All kids in America deserve the best education in the world," he wrote. "The only way we can make that happen is to repeal Common Core across America. When it comes to education, the future of our country is on the line." All of those quotes are again from Senator Mike Lee.
Studies have shown that millennials in the workplace are seen as disproportionately entitled and are willing to sacrifice work friends for a promotion. But new research shows that they are even more willing to lie to get ahead. Millennials, defined as anyone between 19 and 36 years old, say they would take credit for someone else's work to get ahead more than 5 times as frequently as baby boomers. This survey, done by DDB, a marketing firm, also revealed that millennials are more likely to self-identify as workaholics than their older colleagues, reported by MSNBC.
And from the Reuters news agency, President Barack Obama's mistakes enabled the rise of the Islamic State, also known as ISIS, and created the immigration crisis in the country's southern border. Those claims made by his 2012 opponent, Mitt Romney, in statements made Sunday in a roundtable radio discussion hosted by John Katzimatidis. Mistakes were made, and now we have ISIS, Romney told the host on the Katz Roundtable on New York City station WNYM-AM. Romney argued that ISIS would not be gaining power if the United States had followed his plan back in 2012 for dealing with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Just a quick note, I realized as I was reading it that I read that story yesterday, but apparently Reuters picked it up today.
It may be possible to rewire your brain so that it wants and even craves healthier foods by following a healthy diet. That wasn't the quick fix to afternoon ice cream binges, but this research could lead to a more sci-fi solution to the obesity epidemic. In a pilot study published yesterday in the journal Nutrition and Diabetes, scientists say that changing your eating behavior can actually change how your brain reacts to high-calorie and low-calorie foods, reported by CNN.
And from the Associated Press, Chicago children will walk past even more guards on their first day of school today than they did last year when concerns about safety prompted the city to line the streets with 1,200 adults every day. Thanks to an infusion of $1 million from the city, another 100 safe passage workers will be on the routes that students walk through crime-ridden neighborhoods to get to school when classes resume this morning. And after Governor Pat Quinn pledged $10 million, officials said another 600 of the workers would be hired and on the streets over the next several weeks. When they're all in place, according to Jadine Chow, the chief safety and security officer for the Chicago Public Schools, more workers will be assigned along existing routes, and some routes will be extended farther from schools. The district has added 27 schools to the 93 for which there will be safe passage workers. O' Hillary or O Hillary. Fundraise for Hillary Clinton in Ireland, Faith and Bagora. That's exactly what Ready for Hillary, the fundraising unit for Hillary Clinton, did. The independent grassroots activist group traveled all the way to Ballsbridge, that's an exclusive suburb of Dublin, Ireland, to raise $50,000 for Mrs. Clinton, who is a potential White House candidate. 100 fans showed up for the event, organized by New York-based attorney Brian O'Dwyer and hosted by local power couple Linda and Brian Farron, who also have raised money for former President Bill Clinton in the past, reported by the Washington Times. And from the Associated Press, the Burning Man Counterculture Festival drew a peak crowd of nearly 66,000 celebrants as it neared an end yesterday on the northern Nevada desert. Friday's official peak attendance of 65,922 people was within the population cap of 68,000 the Federal Bureau of Land Management imposed on the quirky art and music festival 110 miles north of Reno, according to Gene Seidlitz, manager of the agency's Winnemucca district.
United Nations officials today are urging an immediate end to the acts of violence and abuses committed against civilians in Iraq, particularly against children and people from various ethnic and religious communities. The reports we have received reveal acts of inhumanity on an unimaginable scale. Flavia Pansieri, the Deputy High Commissioner for Human Rights, said in her opening remarks to the UN Human Rights Council special session on Iraq, reported by UN News.
And that's all the time we have for NewsBites. Remember, we do this each weekday morning from 8:35 till 9. It's a great way for you to listen to the radio, catch up on the news. We offer very little opinion or commentary during the slot, although it slips in there now and then. Robin, how many stories did we get through?
25.
25. Not bad. We will take a little break. Carol Ann Baldwin is up next. She'll be answering your questions on her show, You've Got a Garden.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Our forces take aim at the leader of an al-Qaeda-linked group in Somalia.
The U.S. drone attack in southern Somalia came a day after al-Shabaab apparently attacked an interrogation center. A Pentagon spokesman says they're still assessing the outcome of the strike, but officials believe some of the attackers